still remember how your hand fit in mine like it was made to stay. You trace your dreams across my skin, and I believed every word you'd say. I was young with an open chest, no armor, no disguise. I let you see the fragile parts. I never showed those eyes. You said, trust me, I won't run. I let you promise first. Before you ever loved me back, I gave you my heart first. I didn't hold a single piece. I didn't hesitate. I gave you all the love in me before I knew my fate. I gave you my heart first, before you asked me to, before I knew the weight of loving you. I gave you my heart first. No walls, no safety net. Now I'm the one trying to forget. You walked away like it was nothing, like I was just a verse. But I was already breaking, 'cause I gave you my heart first. I learned your silence like a language, every pause, every sigh. I memorized the way you changed when love began to die. You held me close but felt so far, like winter in July. I kept pretending we were fine while watching us untied. I felt you leaving long before you said the words that hurt, but I stayed hoping you would come back to the heart I gave you first. I should have saved a little piece for when the fall would come, but I was blinded by forever and everything we'd become. I gave you my heart first, before you asked me to, before I saw the cracks in you. I gave you my heart first, with every fragile part. Now I'm collecting shattered hearts. You walked away like it was easy, like love could be reversed. But I was already breaking, 'cause I gave you my heart first. Maybe I loved too deeply, maybe I loved too fast. Maybe I thought if I gave you all of me, you'd finally give it back. Now I'm dancing with your memory in an empty room, talking to shadows on the wall that still smell like your perfume. And I keep asking heaven why love can feel like this, why giving someone everything can end in loneliness. If I could hold my younger heart, I'd tell her please be slow. Not everyone who says forever is someone meant to grow. I gave you my heart first, before you proved it true, before I knew what love could do. I gave you my heart first, no backup, no defense, just innocence and confidence. You walked away with pieces of everything I was worth. Now I'm learning how to breathe again, after giving you my heart first. One day I'll love much wiser, one day it won't still hurt, but I'll never forget the night I gave you my heart first. And you let it break before it was yours. stayed through all my storms. You held my shaking hands at night and kept my lonely heart warm. But I was scared of something real, too afraid of what love could take. So I kept you at a distance, and now that's my mistake. You were patient with my silence. You never walked away, but I didn't say I love you until it was too late. I loved you too late, when you were already gone, when your arms found someone else to hold on. To look at me like I was everything you dreamed. Now you barely look my way, like I'm someone in between. I see the distance in your eyes when my reflection used to live. Now someone else is getting all the love you tried to give, and it breaks me knowing I was the reason you let go. You begged me for your answer, I was too afraid to show. Now every word I never said is echoing in pain. I had the chance to keep you, but I let it slip away. I loved you too late, when your heart stopped needing mine, when you stopped believing in our time. I loved you too late, now I'm standing in the past, holding on to memories that couldn't last. I waited till forever fell apart and turned to gray, and now I live with regret. Turn back every second, I'd run straight into your arms. I'd tell you all the words I buried in my heart. I'd hold you like tomorrow was something we could keep, instead of watching you become someone I can reach. But time doesn't forgive us, and love doesn't always wait. And now I'm just a stranger to the one who called me fate. Do you think about me when the night is quiet and still? Do you ever feel the pieces of a love we didn't fulfill? I was blind to what I had, now I see crystal clear. I lost the only home I knew when I lost you here. I loved you too late, when your heart learned to move on, when the place I had in you was gone. I loved you too late, now I'm alone with my mistakes. With every silent breath my heart breaks. I waited till forever was too fragile to create, and now I carry this pain. You too late, you were everything I needed, everything I couldn't say. You were standing right beside me You start looking at me first, but I pretended not to see. I kept believing in your words, even when they didn't mean me. Your voice lost its warmth slowly, your touch turned into air. I was lying next to someone who was no longer there. I tried to hold the pieces of a love already gone. I told myself you'd find your way back where you belong. I kept standing in the doorway, waiting for what we had felt. You didn't ask me to leave. I stayed until you left. I stayed until you left, until there was nothing left to save. I held on to every promise, even as it slipped away. I stayed until you left. Through every silent goodbye, you broke my heart in slow motion, right before my eyes. I gave you all the love I had, every piece I kept. You didn't fight to keep me, I stayed until you left. I stayed until you left. You started sleeping closer to the edge of where I lay, like distance could protect you from the words you couldn't say. I memorized your silence, every breath you didn't take. I learned how love could disappear without a single break. I kept hoping you remember the way you loved me then, but I was just a stranger you didn't recognize again. I was waiting for a reason, for something I could feel, but the truth was in your absence. You had already left for real. I stayed until you left. Through the cold and empty nights, I stayed when it was hurting. I stayed when it wasn't right. I stayed until you left, even when I felt alone. I was still beside you while you were already gone. I gave you every fragile part, every breath I kept. You didn't need to push me. I stayed until you left. Maybe love made me weaker, maybe hope made me blind. Maybe I saw the ending, but couldn't leave it behind. I didn't want forever to turn into goodbye. I didn't want to face the truth. You stopped needing mine. Now I'm standing in the ruins of the life we never kept. You didn't have to break me, you just had to forget. I still hear your footsteps, even though you're gone. I still feel your shadow in the place I don't belong. I gave you all my seasons, you gave me your regret, and somehow I'm still healing from the moment that you left. I stayed until you left, until my heart gave out, until I lost the strength to keep fighting through the doubt. I stayed until you left. Through every tear I cried, I should have kept. You didn't have to leave me, I stayed until you. I stayed until you left. Now I'm learning how to breathe without you in my chest. You walked away so easily, and I stayed until you left. We were dancing in the kitchen light, barefoot on the tile. You looked at me like I was home, like I was worth your while. You painted futures in the air with every gentle touch. I wrapped my world around your name. I never thought too much. I believed in every promise like they were carved in stone. I never thought forever could feel this alone. You said we'd weather every storm, said we'd never drift away, but somewhere in the quiet you stopped choosing me each day. Love didn't stay with me, it packed its bags and left. I woke up in an empty bed with your ghost inside my chest. Love didn't stay with me, though I begged her not to go. I held on with both my hands, but you let go. I gave you all the best of me, everything I could be, but love didn't stay. Love didn't stay with me. You started turning into silence where laughter used to live. You stopped reaching for my heart like you had nothing left to give. I asked you if we were okay, you said we'll be alright, but your eyes were already gone long before that night. I kept trying to save us from the cracks beneath our feet, but I was fighting for a love you had already released. I felt you slipping further every time we spoke. I was drowning in your distance while pretending not to choke. Love didn't stay with me, it slowly slipped away like sand between my fingers. I couldn't make it stay. Love didn't stay with me, though I gave it all I had. Now I'm left with memories and all the things we had. I gave you every fragile dream, every piece of me, but love didn't stay. Love didn't stay with me. Maybe love needs two hearts beating at the same speed. Maybe mine was desperate while yours was free to leave. I would have stayed through darkness, through every fear and doubt, but you chose the quiet exit instead of working it out. Now I'm learning how to stand on the ruins of us, trying to believe someday someone won't give up. Do you ever think about me when the night won't let you sleep? Do you ever miss the way my love ran deep? Or was I just a chapter you easily close while I'm still reading pages of a story that froze? Love didn't stay with me, but I stayed long enough to give you every heartbeat, every fragile love. Love didn't stay with me, though I begged it through my tears. Now I'll carry what we were for years and years. I gave you all my everything. can't see how something that felt like forever didn't stay with me. Was no screaming, no slammed doors, no word sharp enough to bleed. Just two hearts standing in the dark, losing what they used to be. You sat beside me on the bed, but you felt miles away. Your eyes were somewhere I couldn't reach. No matter what I'd say, I kept waiting for a reason, for something I could fight. But love was already leaving in the middle of that night. No warning, no goodbye, no moment I could stop. Just silence falling slowly, like everything we were forgot. The end was quiet, no tears left to cry, no last chance to hold you, no last chance to try. The end was quiet, like love slipped away, without asking permission, without asking me to stay. You didn't break me loudly, you didn't cause a riot, you just stopped loving me. And the end was quiet. You stopped saying I love you first, then stopped saying it at all. I should have heard the warning signs in every silent fall. We still went through the motions, still share the same space, but I was just a memory, standing in your place. I try to be the answer to questions you won't speak, but I was just a habit you didn't wanna keep. I watched you slowly disappear while standing next to me. It's hard to hold someone who no longer wants to be. The end was quiet, no final scene to show, no dramatic ending, just letting go. The end was quiet, like I didn't exist, like all the love between us was something you dismissed. You didn't leave me shattered, you didn't even fight it, you just stopped loving me. And the end was quiet. Sometimes the loudest heartbreak is the one you never hear, when someone fades in front of you but never disappears. I would have fought forever, I would have stayed through pain, but still feel the emptiness you left behind too soon. You didn't need to say your distance told me true. The hardest part of losing you was watching you lose me too. The end was quiet, but it broke me all the same. No one heard my heart call out your name. The end was quiet, but the pain still screams inside of every lonely moment. I still try to hide. You didn't need to hurt me. You didn't need to deny it. You just stopped loving me. And the end was quiet. No last words, no last kiss, no moment I could rewrite. Just silence. And the end was folded all my dreams into your hands like paper promises in rain. I thought your arms were where I'd land, somewhere safe from every pain. You spoke in words that felt like home, like I was finally enough. You kissed the fears I never showed and made the broken parts feel loved. But somewhere in the quiet nights, your warmth began to leave. I was still holding on to you while you were letting go of me. I felt it slipping through my fingers, every tear I couldn't speak. I was fighting for forever. You were losing love for me. How was the love you didn't keep, the one you left behind? You said I was your everything, then changed your mind. I was the arms that held you close when you were incomplete. Now I'm just the love you didn't keep. I memorized the way you breathe beside me in the dark. I never thought the light in you would fade inside my heart. You stopped saying my name like before. It sounded cold and strange. The silence grew between our words and nothing felt the same. I asked you if you still believed in everything we dreamed, but you just looked away from me like love was make-believe. Oh, I gave you every fragile piece you never tried to save. You watched my heart fall slowly while you quietly walked away. I was the love you didn't keep, the one you couldn't hold. You let me fall through open hands into the cold. I was the one who stayed through storms while you found your release. Now I'm just the love you did. left behind, trying to convince my soul you were never truly mine. I still see your shadow in places we used to go. I still hear your echo in words you'll never say again. And I wonder if you miss me, or if I faded in the air, like the love I gave so freely. You were never meant to care. I'm not made to break. One day love won't leave me with every breath I take. But you'll always be the reason I learned how lost can speak. I was the love you didn't keep. I didn't know how much you mean or what you came here for. You traced your fingers down my spine like you were here to stay. You said my name like it was yours, and I believed that way. I let you see the fragile side I never showed for long. But loving you was easy, even if it felt too strong. You felt like something permanent, like I had finally found a place to rest my hopeful heart, some steady, solid ground. But you didn't stay long. You were gone before I knew. I was already falling deep in love with you. You didn't stay long, just long enough to make it hurt. Now I'm lying here alone with everything we were. You were my almost forever, my right that turned so wrong. You touched my life so deeply, but you didn't stay long. You used to hold me in the dark like I was safe and sure. Now your side of this empty bed feels colder than before. I replay every little sign I tried so hard to miss. The distance growing in your eyes behind every careless kiss. You said you needed space to breathe, said it wasn't me. But love doesn't just disappear, 'cause you didn't stay long. You were gone before the fight, before we learned how to be strong, before we made it right. You didn't stay long, just long enough to leave a scar. Now every song, every memory reminds me where you are. You were my almost forever, a dream that came and gone. You held my heart so gently, but you didn't stay long. Maybe I was just a season, maybe you were just passing through. Maybe I built a whole lifetime around someone I barely knew. I would have stayed through the hard days, through every storm we'd face, but you chose the easy leaving over trying to stay. And I hate that I still miss you when I know I should be strong. I'm still loving someone who already moved on. Sometimes I wake up reaching for a hand that isn't there. Sometimes I swear I feel you, like you're still breathing in the air. But silence answers louder than any words you said. You left me with your ghost sleeping in my bed. You didn't stay long, but I stayed long enough to give you every piece of me, every fragile love. You didn't stay long, but I'll feel you for years, in every hidden memory, in every falling tear. You were my almost forever, my unfinished song. I gave you all my heart, but you didn't stay long. Now I'm learning how to let go of what I can't hold on. You were my brightest moment. Ooh, you didn't stay long. You held my face between your hands and told me I was safe. You said you'd never be the one who let my heart escape. You traced forever on my skin like it was yours to claim. You lit a fire inside my chest and called it by your name. I gave you every fragile truth I never dared to say. I thought your love would shelter me, but it just slipped away. You saw the cracks beneath my smile. You knew how much I'd take. You promised you would hold me close, but you let me break. You let me break, right in your arms while you were standing there. You let me fall apart, you let me break, like I was made of it, like all the love I gave was never really there. I trusted you with all I had, every piece at stake. I thought you'd be my saving grace, but you let me break. I stayed when the signs were clear that you were pulling back. I told myself it's just a phase, love always fades to black. You stopped reaching for my hand, stopped looking in my eyes. You spoke to me in half-truths and beautifully shaped lies. I kept trying to fix the cracks you didn't want to mend. I was fighting for our story while you were at the end. You watched me slowly losing life. You felt my spirit shake. You could have held me through the night. You let me break. Without a sound, I was screaming inside, but you never turned around. You let me break. Like love was easy to replace, like I was just another heart you couldn't face. I gave you every part of me, no matter what it takes. I thought your arms were home, but you let me break. Maybe I loved too deeply, maybe I stayed too long. Maybe I saw the red flags but painted them as wrong. I kept hoping you'd remember the way we used to be, but you were already somewhere I couldn't reach or see. And I hate that I still miss you, even after all the pain. How can someone who swore to you be the reason you're in chains? And now I'm gathering the pieces off the cold and empty floor, trying to find the girl I was before you closed the door. I'm learning how to breathe again without your name on mine, learning how to heal a heart you left behind. You let me break, but I won't stay broken. I'm stronger than the silence of words you never spoken. You let me break, but I'm rising from the ache, from every shattered promise you didn't keep or make. I trusted you with all my love, every risk I take. I thought you never hurt me, but you let me One day I'll thank the pain for teaching me my worth. One day I'll love again, but you remember, you let me break. You used to reach for me at night, like losing me was your worst fear. You pulled me close without a word and whisper everything sincere. Your heartbeat felt like home to me, so steady, warm and true. I never thought the safest place would be the place I lose. You said forever like a vow, like time was on our side. I didn't know forever meant just for a little while. I still remember every promise, every truth you said back then. You looked at me like I was everything. You loved me then, when my name lived on your lips, when goodbye was something we could never even picture. You loved me then, when your hands wouldn't let go. Now they don't reach for mine like they did before. I still hold on to who you were, even though I know you're gone. You loved me once, but not for long. I started noticing the change and every word you didn't say. The silence growing in your eyes, where love began to fade away. You stopped asking how I was, stopped telling me your dreams. We turned into two strangers, living in between. I tried to fix what I could feel was breaking deep inside, but love can't survive in one heart, no matter how hard it tries. I kept hoping you'd remember the way you held me when your arms were still my shelter. You loved me then, when forever felt so real, when every moment with you was something I could feel. You loved me then, before distance took your heart, before I became someone you could fall apart from. I still live inside the past, even though you moved on. You loved me once, but not for long. Was I just a season you were passing through? Was I just a story that ended too soon? I would have stayed beside you through every fear and doubt, but you stopped believing in what we were about. Now I'm learning how to breathe without your love to lean on, learning how to live knowing you're gone. Sometimes I close my eyes and see you as you were, before the distance, before the hurt, before love turned unsure. I miss the way you saw me, like I was worth the fight, not like the stranger you left behind. You loved me then, when my heart was safe with you, when I believed your promises were something true. You loved me then, before everything fell apart, before you left me here with this broken heart. I'll always carry who we were, even though you're gone. You loved me once, but not for long. Now you're just a memory, a feeling that never ends. You don't love me now, but you loved me then. You loved me then. You walked in like a quiet prayer I didn't know I'd meet. You filled the empty space in me with every word you'd breathe. You held my hand like it belonged somewhere inside your own. You made me feel like I was safe, like I was finally home. I started building dreams for us and places we would go. I didn't see the ending, waiting in the glow. You gave me just enough of you to let my whole heart fall. You made me feel like I was yours, but you were never mine at all. You were my almost forever, the one I thought would never leave, the one I thought I'd hold together. You were my almost, the dream I couldn't keep. Now I'm lying here alone with promises you didn't need. You were so close to being home, so close to all I wanted most, but in the end you were slowly, like colors in the rain. You stopped saying my name the way you did in better days. Your arms didn't hold me like before. Your eyes looked past my face. I felt the distance growing in every small embrace. I asked you if you still believed in everything we had. You said you didn't know anymore, and that answer broke me bad. I tried to be enough for you. I tried to make you stay, but love can't live forever. If one heart walks away, you were my almost everything. The one I trusted with my heart, the one who made me dream. You were my almost, the love I couldn't save. Now I'm just someone you once knew, someone you gave away. You were so close to forever, so close to what I needed most. But in the end, you were just my almost. Maybe in another lifetime you would have stayed with me. Maybe we would have been the story everyone believes. Maybe you would have held me when the world fell apart, instead of being the reason I'm standing here with scars. I still hear your voice sometimes echo inside my mind. I still feel your absence in the quiet I can't hide. I didn't know the last time would be the last goodbye. I didn't know forever could end without a fight. I would have given anything to make you want me still, but love isn't something you can force to be real. You were my almost meant to be, the one I thought would never turn and leave me. You were my almost, and I'm finished soul, a place my heart still goes. Even though you're gone, you were so close to forever, so close to my soul. But forever slipped away and left me with my almost. Now I'm learning how to live with the ghost of what we